Hi everyone, today we're gonna do a flower nose perfume video. So you guys might know, or you might have figured it out on your own, that I like flower nose and I really like perfume. So I thought I would just sit down and do a flower nose perfume video. Just maybe talking about them, ranking them, discussing them a bit for people who are interested, or maybe people who just want some light entertainment to listen to, whatever you'd like, right? So I actually have a few full-size perfumes. I say a few, I have 3 full-size perfumes. You'll see the ones. I had several samples stocked up that I had from like Carousel a long time ago. I like to buy them secondhand a lot because, you know, committing to a full size is not amazing, but for the longest time I also had a really hard time actually getting my hands on the perfume. So with those I had quite a bit of perfumes, but I also borrowed some samples from my friend and I bought like I think the last few sets that I was missing that I could get secondhand. And yeah, so those are all I'll be reviewing. As you can see, I actually have them color coded and I sprayed them all already, but I will be spraying them again. I just, wanted to smell them beforehand as well. And I will also put them in a tier list. So what I'll be looking at today are almost all the perfumes except the ones from Strawberry Rococo and the unicorn ones. So the unicorn ones, I just can't get my hands on them. The Strawberry Rococo ones, there's a red one and a blue one. The blue one is muscat flavor, which I was actually really interested in since ages, but I've never been able to find a sample for it secondhand. The red one, I did find a sample secondhand, but the seller never got back to me, and you know what, it wasn't a big deal. So I'll be doing all the other ones. So here's my little flower nose bag. We're also going to be doing the solid perfumes. I have both of them right here. This is a really small bag. Very difficult to get things out of it. We have a lot of random samples here that are both things that I bought in the past 2 weeks, as well as some that my friend lent me because she got them, so I wasn't going to buy them. I just borrowed them from her, right? One of them just fell out. We have a lot of individual samples. These are the same as the ones I just showed you, except I threw away their cardboard a long time ago. I've just been keeping these in a little bag. We have, of course, the 2 solid perfumes that I'll be looking at. And finally, we have the 3 actual perfumes that I do own. I'll give you like a closer look at them when I'm actually going to be talking about them. So let's talk about what I'm actually going to be, like I want to do a tier list of them. With my own tier list, by the way, because I hate the colors of like the tier list maker. But I wrote down some things because, I'm scatterbrained. So the things I'm going to be keeping in mind for the tier list is, first of all, how unique they are relative to one another. Second is how memorable they are. Then low-key bottle design, because I know that's really important for flower nose. And another last one is thematic relevance, like how well does it match the collection they're in, the bottle, right? Things like that. And you might be thinking, why are we not rating longevity or complexity and stuff like that? And the reason for that is, well, we're gonna clear that up before we actually start looking at the perfume. So first of all, I am going to be judging all the flower nose perfumes based on the price point that I can get them at. So if you buy from the Taobao store, these are about 18 USD. Maximum maybe 20 USD. I think that they are worth that price. So I know on the global website they are more like 50 USD. Now I don't know why they're actually 50 USD. I'm not saying like flower nose just double the price on purpose. Maybe there's something about taxes, maybe they're made somewhere else. I don't know, because I know perfume is difficult to ship and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to be judging them based on the price I got them, which is around 18, 20 USD. Based on that, I think that they are pretty good perfumes. However, because they are so cheap, I am not actually going to fault them for their longevity and complexity. So flower nose perfumes generally don't have a very strong lasting power. Some of them are medium, like they last a couple hours. Some of them disappear quite quickly. They will last longer if you spray them on your clothes or on other things, right? So like I sprayed them on these yesterday around lunchtime, so it's been around 24 hours. I can still smell all of them, but on the skin they might fade a bit more easily. The second thing is complexity. So flower nose have a lot of notes in some of their perfumes, and some of them are well made, and I would say they do have a bit of, I guess, complexity to them, but some of them also are just like very straight, or at the very least, the top notes evaporate quickly and then the scent stays consistent to me, right? Oh, that's another thing. All of this is based on my opinion. I'm actually you know, like I'm just a fan of perfume. I'm not like a pro. I don't know shit really. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video. Sorry, I just turned the aircon on. If it's a bit noisy, apologize, but it's hot here. It is fucking hot. All right, before we get started, there's just a few other points I want to get out of the way. First is that some people say flower nose perfumes are sometimes dupes of other perfumes. However, since I'm more of a gourmand girly, I don't buy fruity florals that often, which is what flower nose mostly does. I actually am unfamiliar with these scent profiles, so I'm not going to talk about if they're similar to another perfume or not, or if they're a dupe or whatever. I'm just going to be talking about flower nose perfumes as they are. Okay, this tier list is also going to be as unbiased as possible. Of course, it's still going to be biased because I'm making it, but I'm not going to judge it based on whether I'd buy it or if I like the particular scent. I'm going to try to be a bit more general about it, and at the end I'll just tell you my favorite top 5 from these, like my personal ones, okay? I'm not going to go in any specific order, but how about let's get started with the newest ones, which are the Shell's Jewel perfumes. These are the ones that my friend gave me because I just totally skipped out on them. As you can see, I did like a master post of all the notes because I'm really disorganized. So I'm going to be referring to my phone when reading out the notes, and I'll probably put up a picture so you guys can see them too. Let's go ahead and start with lemon iced tea, which sounds really promising. So according to the website, right, lemon iced tea has for top notes lemon, lime, and green tea absolute, middle notes cardamom, peppermint, petit grain, and base notes ambergris, musk, and labdanum. So I think everyone knows this. If a perfume is lemon scented, it is a bit risky because, well, not risky, but there's a high chance of it smelling a bit like cleaning products because lemon is a very prominent fragrance in, like, you know, cleaning products. This lemon tea one definitely has a bit of that cleaning product scent. However, I do want to say you can smell the tea notes in it. It does smell like tea, and I think that is already pretty impressive because a lot of these lemon tea ones just smell like lemons, honestly. I'm not going to go through every single criteria when I rank these perfumes. However, I will point out things that I find notable. The first thing is that compared to other flower nose perfumes, lemon iced tea is not something they've done before, so I think compared to the other ones, it's pretty unique as a scent. However, they do like citrus scents a lot, so it kind of like, the concept of it is unique, but it's actually not that memorable in hindsight. It's also very straightforward. I don't think it changes. The citrus stays the whole time. You can smell the tea leaves, but never really changes. Not very complex, right? The bottle design, honestly, is not personally to my taste, but it's cute. It's nice. So I think I might just put it in like B tier, honestly. Lower B tier? I'm not really sure. Let's just say B tier for now. I might adjust these at the end. The next one from the Shell's Jewel series is the Crystal Apple one. And honestly, I just want to start by saying, I don't really think this fits the theme. Like, I don't think apples when I think of the seaside or if I think mermaids. Maybe the word crystal can evoke something of that like sparkly shell kind of thing they were going for, but it's not very promising to start with. Like, it doesn't match the aesthetic very well. I recall my friend saying she didn't like this one very much, and yesterday I had to agree with her. So the notes are yuzu, pomegranate, aquatic accord, and galbanum. Middle notes apple, peony, luteus, magnolia, and base notes sandalwood, ambergris, musk, and moss. And honestly, I think it's the base notes that I'm smelling that I really do not like. Like, this smells not very pleasant to me. I think I'm smelling like the moss or something that I really don't like. I know some people like this kind of scent because it has more depth to it, but it smells really old. Does that make sense? Like, I would imagine like aunties wearing this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Most importantly, it doesn't smell like apple. I literally smell no apple. I don't smell yuzu or pomegranate. I smell no fruits at all. I only smell florals and like those really heavy base notes, which is a bit unfortunate. And again, Crystal Apple doesn't evoke the seaside. This does not evoke the seaside either to me, like the ocean shell theme. I think it would have been interesting to see maybe something like sea salt notes or something, I don't know, a bit more oceanic, but like, I don't know, because I wasn't expecting like Axe Marine either, but It really doesn't fit with the aesthetic, which is a bit too bad. For this, honestly, I think I might put it in D tier. It's a perfume I really wouldn't want to smell it. I feel like that sounds really harsh. I'm not here to say it smells bad. If you like this perfume, if you own it and you like it, that's totally fine. I think it's one of their weaker ones for sure. Let's go ahead and move on to the collection right before that, which was the Strawberry Cupid collection. So in the Strawberry Cupid collection, I actually have quite a few of the items. Not only do I have one of the perfumes, again, I have both solid perfumes. I actually also received the sample for the perfume I did not have, just because I bought one of the perfumes. Let's go ahead and start with the one I do have. And since I do have it, I want to talk a bit more about the bottle. Flower Nose has really, really pretty bottles, as I'm sure you all know. This one has to be one of my favorites. Not only is it pink, but I find that the angel is really, really well done. Just giving you a little close-up, but as you can see, it's very well sculpted. It's super, super cute. It's also not the same model as another perfume that has an angel on it. But yeah, bottle design, definitely gorgeous. It kind of looks like a heart too. It looks a bit like a potion, like a heart. I like it. So this one is Strawberry Milkshake. And as you can see, I've actually used a bit of it. It actually has some of the simplest notes in like among all the perfumes. We just have top note strawberry, middle note caramel, base notes vanilla and musk. I want to say straight away before I even smell this, although you guys have seen me review this maybe already. I smelled it before, obviously. I own it. This is the only perfume that has a vanilla note in it among all of the ones I'm going to be smelling today. So that alone makes it really unique. It's also, I think, the only strawberry note one. I haven't sprayed it again yet. I'm actually going to spray it on this side just because I want to talk about how it smells after a while too. It smells exactly like strawberry candy. It smells like maybe like strawberry lollipops. I think my friend said strawberry high chew. It's just a very, very sugary scent. And honestly, when I first reviewed it, I actually said I don't smell any of the milkshake part. It doesn't smell creamy at all. It just smells candy-like. And I don't think candy-like is a bad scent. It might come across as a bit juvenile because it just is a flat, sweet scent. However, I made a discovery recently because I've been spraying this now and then at night and stuff like this. The creaminess does come out if you spray it on your clothes after a long time. So you know how I said I sprayed this last night? Or yesterday rather? I can smell creaminess here, and it's actually really nice, very subtle. The strawberry still remains a bit synthetic. Why did I say that? It smells synthetic, but I'm not someone who's saying synthetic in a bad way here. It just smells like artificial strawberry, like you would smell in, you know, like a candy flavor strawberry, not a fresh strawberry. But it does dry down and have a really pleasant, creamy scent in the end, right? So I will say, I don't know if you put on your skin how long it'll take to get that creamy scent. I think you would barely be able to smell it at that point. But if you have this, maybe try spraying it on your clothes or like on your pillow or something, and you'll see it actually does develop that creamy scent eventually. That being said, I really like just the scent in general. And I know I might be biased here. I know I said I wasn't going to be biased, but I'm going to be biased. I own this, right? I'm going to put this in S tier just because it is the only, I don't want to say gourmand scent, but like it was aiming to be a gourmand scent, right? It's a fruity scent, but it's the only one that's very like of this category. It doesn't have that kind of generic floral background that you smell in almost all the other ones. So for that alone, and the bottle design, and the fact that it matches the aesthetic, like Strawberry Cupid, Strawberry Milkshake, it's just perfect. S tier. S tier straight away. Now this next perfume is Lychee Bouquet. As you can see, I don't have like the little cardboard, I just have this alone. I remember my friend got this perfume. It's the exact same bottle as this one, but like red. So the notes for this one are lychee, black currant, and lemon. All of them very, very recurrent in Flower Nose. Middle notes, rose and jasmine. Also very recurring in Flower Nose. And base notes, musk. So let me go ahead and spray it. So this might just be me, because I'm particularly sensitive to certain florals, especially rose and jasmine. But I smell mostly florals from this. I don't really smell a strong lychee. I don't smell black currant. And I don't smell citrus at all. I can see a slight fruity scent in the background, but I can't identify it as lychee specifically. While I do have some lychee forward perfumes, and I can detect it there. So I don't think it's my nose, but you never know, right? But my friend did say she does smell the lychee here. However, I will say this is something that I feel a lot of the flower nose perfumes, it's not a flaw if you like this, but for me, it's the reason why I don't have a lot of the full sizes, is that eventually, even though the top notes, even if you do smell that kind of fruity blast, like the lychee, the juicy lychee, right, all that stuff, eventually, like when I say eventually, I mean within like 5-10 minutes, it just kind of boils down to a generic fruity floral. And if you like that, that's good. But for me, it's not my cup of tea, and I think that it makes it not really as interesting because they all smell more or less the same with like minor differences. And I do think it's because they use rose and jasmine all the time as their middle notes, or like sometimes lily of the valley or something like this. And the combination of some like fruit notes at the top and middle notes florals, and then similarly base notes is always like sandalwood or musk or something like some very typical base notes. I do feel like it gives them a bit of a generic fruity floral DNA. It's not personally for me. But that being said, it is a nice perfume. It's just not that interesting and not that memorable. I also feel like it doesn't really fit with the aesthetic that much, although it's not as egregious as the Shell's Jewel one. So I think I would put it in B, which is just a scent that is nice, but nothing too special. I'm gonna move on to these because they're in the same collection. However, I'm not gonna be putting them in a tier list for reasons that'll become clear. Well, first of all, they're solid perfumes, but yeah, you're gonna see. So this one, the pink one, is also lychee bouquet. So it's the same one as the one I just sprayed. This is how it looks like inside, by the way. Except I actually think it smells better. So I'm not really sure what goes on with solid perfumes, but I feel like they smell slightly creamier. Like it's basically the same scent, but like mildly creamier. And based on that, I like it a bit more. This is the one I do keep on my bag all the time, by the way, so it might have like some nicks or whatever. I just think it makes so much sense to have them as keychains, so I really like this product. The scent is, like I said, nice enough, and it smells creamier, so I do like it. However, what I want to point out is this red one right here, which is actually not strawberry milkshake. It's actually creamy gardenia. And that is actually the scent of the Butterfly Cloud perfume, the one that came right before this. And I think that was interesting. Maybe they just couldn't get the strawberry milkshake one in solid form, so maybe they picked one of their previous ones. The notes are actually slightly different, but they're basically the same. Like instead of like Asiatic pear, they just write pear. They're more or less the same. I'll show you them like right here. But this one is really, really nice. I think it's the gardenia that has that really creamy, rich scent, even though there's no milk or vanilla in it. It just smells really, really good, and it's a floral I actually do like a lot. This is one I keep on my desk actually, but maybe I should be carrying this one around instead. I really, really like the scent. One last thing I want to mention about these is that when you carry them around, the magnet over here is very loose, so sometimes mine just hangs open like this and I have to like close it. So do be careful about that. It's not loose, it's just, you know, if stuff's moving around, it might fling open sometimes, so be careful with that. And regardless, on Taobao at least, these are free products that you get. So for a free product, I think this is really, really good. I know they're not free on the global websites, but I would pay for these. I would pay for these. Like even if they weren't free, this is like something I really wanted, and I think they're definitely worth the money. I don't know how much they're charged for on the Flower Nose website, like the global website, but it's something that I consider to be worth paying for. Since we went ahead and looked at that, I'm actually going to move on to the Butterfly Cloud Collar collection, just because Creamy Gardenia is one of their perfumes. I don't have any of their full sizes, but they have especially like pretty bottles. Right, let's go ahead and start with Creamy Gardenia herself. It's not Creamy Gardenia, girl, it's Snowy Gardenia. Oh, I want to point out actually before I start that these two perfume bottles are some of the rare ones that actually don't show like the liquid, they're not translucent, right? But I do think it makes for slightly more unique design. Like you can kind of predict how the other flower nose perfumes look like. They're usually of a specific shape with some ornate detail, and then the top of the bottle has like a unique, like an angel or like a mermaid, a unicorn, something like that. These ones are a bit, I guess a bit different, and I do like the designs a lot. Anyways, let's get into it. So snowy gardenia, like I showed you before, it's top notes bergamot, blackcurrant pear, middle notes gardenia, jasmine, plumeria, base notes sandalwood, patchouli, and musk. And now y'all know, or maybe you don't know, I hate patchouli. I really hate patchouli. I dislike it more than jasmine. However, this is actually a perfume I really like, and I was really surprised by it. That being said, I'm smelling it now. I'm smelling that patchouli. I don't like how it smells like right now after one day. It smells really good. It smells really creamy. It's like I know it's like another white floral, but it's done well. And I don't really smell, I don't know how to explain this. Like, I'm not a professional perfume person, so I don't know if I'm explaining this properly, but I don't specifically smell like blackcurrant and pear in this, but I do smell something fruity alongside the florals. But the florals are still the main thing you smell. And I think what I'm smelling the most is actually the gardenia and the plumeria. Especially the gardenia. It smells really good. And I think it should be that way because it is called like snowy gardenia, right? I don't know if I get any snowy like feeling from it. Like it doesn't feel icy, but I can imagine someone wearing this in winter. But I can also imagine someone wearing this in spring. It is a bit heavy though, but maybe that's just because I'm biased against florals. But this one is actually one of the ones I really like among the new ones that I bought. So I've never smelled these before yesterday, and I was really impressed by how much I did actually like them. I also think that for both, the next one too, the bottle design and the smell, like they fit, like the aesthetic matches really well. However, I don't think it's very unique. Like obviously you saw it on the solid perfume, but also white florals is very common in flower nose. It's just that it's a really good one for a floral for flower nose, right? So I'm actually gonna put it in A tier. And again, I must say, when I smelled the dry down, I really didn't like it. So, but I feel like the predominant scent, like when you spray a flower nose scent, you know, after a good like 5-10 minutes, it settles and it stays that way for a really long time. By the time it reaches like the final dry down, it more or less has dissipated. So I don't think you would smell the patchouli too much if you don't like it. It depends like your skin too. I know when you spray perfume, it develops differently for different people. So maybe for me, if I sprayed it on me, I'm not gonna do that now because there's just way too many perfumes. It might just smell like patchouli nation, I don't know. The next one I'm gonna look at is Ephemeral Dream. It's the pink bottle one. So both of these are actually florals, which I guess fits the aesthetic, right? But yeah, the top notes here are aldehydes, aquatic notes, freesia, middle notes, lily of the valley, neroli, rose, jasmine, another lily of the valley, rose, jasmine scents from them. And then base notes are musk, ambergris, sandalwood, and patchouli. So honestly, when I saw these notes, I was like, that is one that is not for me. Like, it's two white florals without the one floral I do like, and it has base notes I'm not fond of. It smells exactly like the notes. It smells like white florals, right? There's nothing more to it. I don't smell any of those aquatic notes they are talking about. It just smells like purely like the middle notes area. I think if you like white florals, you might like this one. For me, it's not my favorite, but I'm trying to be unbiased. It's an alright one. It fits the theme. It's not that memorable to me because it's very typical, but I also think that it's not that unique either. So I'm just gonna put it in, how can I not be biased? I'm gonna put it in C, okay? I'm gonna put it in C just because it's still a pleasant smell. So you guys remember, the one I put in D was Crystal Apple, which I couldn't stand the smell of. All right, so we're gonna put this one in C. For the next one, we're actually gonna take a step back I know we've been going from most recent backwards, but I actually like get confused over the order, and I just want to talk about these ones. These are, I think, the oldest ones I have. It's the Moonlight Mermaid series perfume. It's the bottle with the moon and the mermaid at the top. The mermaid aesthetic, like, is totally not for me, so I actually skipped this entire line. I don't own anything from it. But I now own the samples I got secondhand, so let's go ahead and give those a try. So we have two here. We have Forever Blooming Flower and Luna Blooming... Sorry, I just saw, is it called Luna Goddess Tree or Luna Goodness Tree? Because it's written Luna... Let me zoom in for y'all. It's written Luna Goodness Tree. Alright, y'all, it's meant to be Luna Goddess Tree, apparently. So, little typo there. Alright, let's start with Luna Goddess Tree, because actually I have a lot to say about her. Because she is the only unisex scent that I have gotten among all of these. So, the notes for this one are top notes bergamot, mint, tangerine. Middle notes tea, cedar, moss. Base notes musk, coriander, sandalwood. So based on those and based on what I said before, it sounds like something that I wouldn't really be into. However, I was really pleasantly surprised by this. It smells the same now, but I'm going to respray it anyway. It smells so unisex. Like, I can imagine a man wearing this, a woman wearing this. I know like fragrance isn't gendered necessarily, but let's say it has a scent that I normally associate with like a more masculine smelling. How do I say this without making it seem like perfume is gendered? You guys know what I mean. It smells unisex, and I think that it's actually done very well. This is not a scent I would ever wear myself, but it is something I would love to smell on other people. It smells like a pine tree forest. I know there's no like pine tree in these notes. It must be like the cedar, moss, and tea, as well as the mints that I'm smelling. But it smells super refreshing, super clean, and a bit, like I said, it's super unique because I don't think Flower Nose has many unisex scents. And, you know, they lean so much with the florals. This has no florals in it. And it's to its benefit, too. It smells really good. I think if someone walked by me smelling like this, I'd be like, you know what I mean? Even though it's definitely not something that is up my personal alley. And I think it fits the name well, Luna Goddess Tree. Yeah, I'm smelling tree. It's smelling like goddess. I don't know about the moon, but I like it. I don't know if it fits a mermaid smell because it feels very foresty to me. But is this biased? I'm gonna put it in S tier just because it's one. First of all, it's one of the only perfume bottles that's like really dark. It does evoke that nighttime pine tree forest scent. And there's something mystical about it. I think it's very unique as well and memorable. Like, this is one that I sprayed yesterday and I remembered immediately for today. I was like, I need to talk about this one. So, Luna Goddess Tree, we're putting in S. If you're interested in a Flower Nose perfume and you see they're all like floral and very like, feminine looking, I would highly recommend you checking out this one for something a bit more unisex that also has a very beautiful bottle. Now, the next one is Ever Blooming Flower. You guys can guess, this one's a floral. It's the pink bottle. Let's go ahead and give this one a sniff. But before we do that, let me tell you the notes. So the top notes, we have, you know, always at the scene of the crime, jasmine, lily of the valley, watermelon, tea. Middle notes, cantaloupe, interesting, gardenia, narcissus, and base notes, grass, bellflower, and vetiver. Now, this is one I also was kind of surprised by because based on the notes, I thought it would smell just like, you know, like white florals again. But I think it does smell a bit different from the rest. I don't think I'm smelling any watermelon or cantaloupe, which is a bit disappointing because those would give, you know, like a nice, like summery vibe. Like I associate those scents to summer, but I'm not really getting it. But it smells pleasant. It might just be the pleasantness that I'm smelling, as well as, you know, the gardenia, which I do like. It brings a bit of creaminess to it. It's not as fruity as the notes make it out to be. And most importantly, you know how the lemon tea perfume smelled like tea? There's a tea note in this one, but I don't smell tea. It just smells like a fresh floral. That could be the watermelon that is bringing the freshness, but I'm not smelling the watermelon scent. I'm not really sure, but I would say compared to like ephemeral dream, you know, the pink butterfly cloud one. That one just smelled like white florals, right? This one smells like fresh florals, but it smells a bit better, I think, because it doesn't smell as, I guess, like powdery as it. It smells a bit cleaner, a bit lighter. You know what? I don't know if it fits the mermaid theme well, but it does fit the forever blooming flower vibes well. I think they're going for a more mystical, like fairy kind of vibes rather than like an aquatic one. And for that, it's all right. I think I'll put it in B tier. All right, we still have 4 series coming up. Let's go ahead and do a popular one. It's the Swan Ballet series. So the Swan Ballet series is the one I totally like skipped out on because I'm not into swans. I know. I do like ballet core stuff, but it just didn't appeal to me. Had arguments with like not arguments, like a little talk with one of my students because she said her favorite was like the Swan Ballet one, and I was like, what's your least favorite? And she said Butterfly Cloud. I love Butterfly Cloud, and it just seems that we both love Flower Nose, but we have like the complete opposite tastes in terms of the series they like, right? That being said, I don't dislike this one. It was just not for me, but I did buy some of the samples like back then based on the notes. So as you can see, I have both of them, and I want to point out first, I think you can see, one of them is purple. You might be wondering, does it stain? Yes, it does stain very mildly, but you know, it does add up. It depends how much you spray if you're wearing white and things like this. I'll show you in a while, but let's go ahead and start with Swan Soloist, the purple one. So Swan Soloist is the pink bottle. It's like the swan with the pink liquid. The liquid's pink here, but it's purple on mine. Maybe it's just been a long time. I actually can't remember. It's been so long. Top notes, bitter orange and bergamot. Middle notes, rose and juniper. Base notes, ambergris, fir, and musk. I actually don't remember the scent at all compared to its sibling, but I will go ahead and spray it again so we can smell it. The bitter orange is palpable. If you like orange, bitter orange, this one's for you. It smells citrusy in a way that doesn't smell lemony. How do you say the word agrume in English? Because I feel like the word agrume in French means like all like oranges, grapefruits, and stuff like that, but when I say citrus, it makes it sound like just lemons. But yeah, it smells like agrumes. Okay, it smells like oranges, but not like a generic orange either. Like the bitterness can be smelled. And I think the kind of like the juniper and fir, maybe that's what gives it a bit of a natural sense too. It's not for me, and honestly, now that I smell it, I'm like, I don't remember it smelling like this before. I'm like, I don't know. It's not very memorable to me, but it could be that I'm not particularly fond of orange. But it is, I think, unique among the rest because it has that bitterness to it, very mild bitterness, but it's not sweet, and it does have that powdery floral sense, but the fruitiness is very prominent, and just for that reason, I think it's better than the other florals. However, I don't think it fits with the Swan Ballet vibes. Like, when I think of swans, I don't think of bitter orange. I don't know about you. I think of roses. I think of like white florals, or like you know, things like water lilies, things like that. I'm trying to think whether it goes in A and B tier, but I'm looking, sorry, I have like notes below here where I'm writing things I put, like the tiers I put things in, and I saw I put snowy gardenia in A. I don't think this is on the same level as snowy gardenia. Like, it's unique, but it's not memorable to me, and I don't think it fits as well, but it's pleasant, so I'm gonna put it where most of the scents are, which is a B tier. Now let's take a look at her sister, Ribbon Ballet. Ribbon Ballet is one I do remember because it was one that I considered buying a full size of. It's just that I actually am not personally fond of how like the bottle looks like. Like I said, the swan aesthetic was not particularly for me. Let's look. So top notes are mango, orange, Buddha wood. Middle notes, coconut milk, rose, sandalwood, and base notes, tuberose, musk, and cedar. Before I go ahead and look into this, I want to mention that this is one of the perfumes that gave me the idea of making this video, because I'm on Fragrantica Warriors on Twitter, and I saw a lot of people were wondering about this perfume, and I gave them like my feedback on it, and I'll read it out to you now. So it's this post right here. Someone said, has anybody tried this? Seems like the perfect summer scent. It's Ribbon Ballet by Flower Nose. And I said, I have. Personally, it falls into the category of generic fruity floral musk. Flower Nose often does. I can smell the mango, but not very long, and then it fades into a slightly heavy fruits and flowers. Coconut milk is not perceptible to me. So I feel like I still agree with what I wrote, but with like a caveat, and that is that was how it smelled like when I sprayed it on me. So I think when you spray things on yourself, it's very different from how you can smell it when you spray it here. And the reason why I felt it was very different is that I actually can smell the mango and the coconut milk a lot more on paper than on me. Right now, just smelling it, I do agree with what I said. It smells like just generic like floral musk right now, but let me spray it again. The spray is really, really good when you first spray it. It smells like mango. It's very mango forward. And I can actually smell the coconut in this when I couldn't smell it on my skin. Maybe I should try to get on my skin. Maybe it's just like marinated a while. Like I said, I bought this a long time ago. So how it smells on paper smells like how the notes describe it to me. I don't know what Buddha wood smells like. I'm not really sure if I'm perceiving it at all. But I don't, considering there's wood in the top, middle, and base notes, I actually don't smell that strong of a woodiness. It's not as woody as you expect. Instead, I do smell mango, orange, coconut milk, and a bit of florals. But the coconut milk is not very strong. It doesn't smell like coconut. I think it just smells a bit creamy. And the creaminess, like I said, doesn't show up on my skin. Maybe that's just me. Fuck me, I guess. But the way it smells on paper is very tropical, summery, like a nice, makes me think of mango sticky rice. It's like that kind of scent. In terms of how it fits the aesthetic, I don't look at the bottle and expect the scent, especially since it's a very clean, like, light blue and silver bottle. I don't associate it with swans. It doesn't make me think of ballet. I think there's a complete thematic like shift there. It's not like I'm not seeing the vision. However, I think it is memorable and unique for a Flower Nose perfume. And for that reason, I'm gonna put it in A. Overall, the Swan series is not bad. I think that's why I had the samples. The notes did intrigue me, especially this one, and I just never really committed to seeking out the full size one because it didn't smell great on me and I didn't like the bottle that much. But alright, shall we go ahead and move on to Midsummer Fairytales, which is another series I basically slept on because it wasn't for me. I'm not a very big butterfly girly. I really like how it looks like. It's super, super pretty, but I don't know, it just wasn't for me. I just skipped on it. I do have like one product from it, but I wasn't like too crazy about it. I do want to point something out, and it's that they are shimmer perfumes. These are the only shimmer perfumes I have out of all of this bunch. I'm not sure if you can see the shimmers, but they're also a bit more viscous, just to compare to a normal one. I will say, because of this, they don't absorb into the little fragrance papers very well. I'm wondering if I just actually should spray these on me, just because I think we would see if there's actual shimmer payoff and stuff like that as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one. Actually, which one's which? This one, Midsummer Fantasy. Another thing you might notice is that these bottles look very, very similar to each other, to the point where on Fragrantica, they use the same image. There's actually a difference in the two, which is very, very subtle. And I don't know if you can see, but it's basically, you see the flowers around here? One of them has red flowers, the other one has orange flowers. That's it. That's the only difference. Maybe the liquid is a slightly different color too. Yeah, like one's a bit pinker, but yeah, you can't really see that very well. Let's go ahead and start with the first one, which is Midsummer Fantasy. So Midsummer Fantasy is the one with the orange flowers, and that's lighter in color. So Midsummer Fantasy has top notes of pink pepper, mandarin orange, grapefruit, yuzu. Middle notes, aquatic notes, nutmeg, thyme. Base notes, amber, musk, vetiver. I actually really like thyme as a scent, by the way. Maybe that's me and like my French ass. Like I like a poulet rôti au thym, But this doesn't smell like a rotisserie chicken, don't worry. Actually, this is one that I think is very memorable. And I'll tell you why. I'm gonna spray it on myself first. But you know what? Let me show you guys these first. These are the swatches that I had. there is sparkle to them. Can you see that? Like there's a slight stain with some sparkles on them. They do actually have sparkle payoff. All right, we're gonna do Midsummer Fantasy on this hand. It smells exactly like how I remembered it. The reason why I remember this one so much is because it smells like grapefruit. If you like grapefruit, girl, just buy this. It smells like so strongly like grapefruit, but what I respect a lot is that it smells like the bitter grapefruit. Like, you know that bitterness when you bite into a grapefruit that makes people go like, or makes people have to eat it with sugar? You can smell that. Normally when you have a grapefruit fragrance, they usually remove that bitterness. It's only like the fresh, juicy, sweet part of the grapefruit. But here, it's like the whole package. And I think that it's very, very nice. I think you can smell the pink pepper too. It says there's orange and yuzu in there too, but the grapefruit is so strong that I can't really perceive them much. Same with the middle notes and the base notes even. They definitely give some depth to it, but it's so grapefruit forward that I can't really perceive them. But I think that it is very delicious. I personally I like grapefruit as a flavor, but it's not like the bitterness is not my favorite, but I do like it like as a concept. So I actually really, really like this one. Honestly, this one I think fits with the kind of aesthetic of like, you know, butterflies and nature, just because it just needs to be like fruity. There's no florals in this, but it makes me think of being in nature and it's fresh and nice. So I'm actually going to give this one an S tier, surprising myself. If you like grapefruit, don't hesitate. It might not last long, but it's cheap. It smells good. The bottle is beautiful and it has shimmer. Actually, feedback on that. I can see the shimmer, but it's not crazy. So if you're scared that you're gonna spray it and then you're gonna be sparkling, it's not a Victoria's Secret body mist spray. You're not gonna be sparkling like crazy. The grapefruit still can be smelled in this, even though it's been a really long time. Anyways, let's move on to the next one, and that is Butterfly Narcissus. I'm gonna spray it on this one. While that dries down, Butterfly Narcissus has for notes bergamot, freesia, apple, almond. Middle notes rose, peach, green notes, apricot, and musk. So it should be a very fruity forward scent with florals, which is, you know, what they do a lot. And I will say, it does smell very strongly of apples. You know how we just smelled crystal apple at the very beginning and it had like 0 apple scents? This smells like apple, 100%. And I think it's to its benefit. You can smell the florals. I can smell something like peach, or is it apricot? To me, they smell very similar. So peach or apricot, I can smell it too. It's generally very fresh, but it is also just a fruity floral. But I respect it for being a fruity floral that I can actually discern specific fruits from. I also think that on this paper, do you see how it has like almond? I feel like the dry down is very soft and pretty. It's not sharp and powdery compared to others. It's like mildly powdery. It's not overly powdery is what I mean. So I think it does smell quite nice. I don't know if I like it as much as Ribbon, Ballet, and Snowy Gardenia though, but I definitely like it more than Lemon Tea. I'm looking at my chart. Okay, we're gonna do something, and that is at the very end of this video, I'm actually going to order them so that the thing that's higher B and lower B, like there's a difference in value. So for now I'm gonna put it in B, but it is definitely a really nice one. Like I might move some of these things around. I think low-key Lemon Tea should be in C. We'll see. We might make some adjustments at the end. I'll give you guys like my final one at the end, because now that I'm smelling all these, I think some of these need to be moving. There's a lot of things in B and I don't think they're all made equally. But yeah, I do think I really like how they try to do something different with these, just because the shimmers, yeah, it does fit in that kind of like magical fairy vibes that they're going for. And the shimmers do show up more on these sprays than on me, like on my skin. But they're very fun, and considering that they could have just gone for plain white florals for both of them, I like that they are kind of bold with their fruits, especially the grapefruit one. All right, we have 2 sets left, and they happen to be some with perfumes I have. Let's do the first one, which is Choir Girl and Maria's Anthem. So this is Maria's Anthem. She is actually the first perfume I bought because I just could not resist this bottle. I had to buy it secondhand new. Right? Like I said, I always had trouble getting my hands on these. But when this came out, I couldn't order on Taobao yet, so I bought it secondhand from people in Hong Kong who buy like the all-in set, and then they sell the ones they don't like. I bought it from them. It was actually cheaper than 18 USD. I bought it for around 10 USD because it was secondhand new. This is part of the Little Angel collection, like the Little Angel 2 collection that they had not long ago. But before that, they had Strawberry Rococo with a similar kind of look to it, except one was blue and one was red. It's the two I couldn't get my hands on. I really wanted the blue one because it smells like muscat, but I wasn't really into the colors. But this one was pink and I just could not resist it, even though the notes are not actually that crazy. Let me read them to you. So we have top notes, mango and blackcurrant. Middle notes, jasmine, Brazilian rosewood, lily of the valley. Base notes, amber, musk, vetiver, cedar. Very, very typical flower nose, like middle notes and base notes. And even the top notes, mango, is not that unique. Let me go and spray it and then I'll share my thoughts. Because I've had this perfume for a long time and I don't reach for it at all. I use it as decoration and I'll tell you why. So first of all, there's mango in this. If you recall, one of the Swan ones, Ribbon Ballet, it has mango and it's very mango forward. This one does not smell like mango. It doesn't smell like mango. If you want a mango perfume in a flower nose perfume, go for the Swan one. Don't buy this one because you don't smell mango. Instead, you have that woodiness and the florals, and it just smells overall super generic. It's like low-key, I can't discern anything that interesting in it other than it being floral and woody with some mild sweetness from some fruits and something like that. It's not a bad scent. It's not one where I go, oh, it's so unpleasant. It's just one that is so disappointing for how beautiful the bottle is. It doesn't make me think of, like, to me, it doesn't fit the name Maria's Anthem very well. It doesn't fit this gorgeous bottle. Please take a look at it again. Like, look at this pink angel holding the heart. The heart is so detailed. He has a crown. Like, I don't know, it's just such a beautiful bottle and the scent doesn't do it justice at all. I don't really have much else to say about this other than it's disappointing, but the bottle is beautiful. So I'm gonna put it in C. It hurts because this is one of my favorite bottles. Like, I still don't regret buying, I mean, I got it for 10 USD, but like if I had spent 50 USD on this, I would be so sad. But 10 USD, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. It's not a bad scent, like I said. It's just nothing too unique. And you know what? I do smell like some mild mango, but it's just like it's so negligible compared to the Swan one. It just is what it is. So the next one is Choir Girl. It's the same bottle as this, except it's white. Top notes, this is also very typical flower nose. Top notes, lychee, rose, freesia. Middle notes, lily of the valley, pear, peony, honey. Base notes, cedar, amber. So the top notes and the base notes and some of the middle notes are very typical. I think the only unique thing that we have here is that we have our very first honey note among all of them. So I had this ages ago and I have the same thoughts now that I had back then, is that it reminds me of some girl in high school. She had a perfume that smelled like this. Obviously it was not this, like I'm nearly 30, like it was like 15 years ago. Someone had a perfume that smelled like this. I think I just don't know enough about perfume to determine what it is. It's not a bad scent. I actually think this smells better than Maria's Anthem. It smells very clean. It smells mildly sweet, but not too sweet. The lychee is not like a juicy lychee that I can smell much, but I can see what they're trying to go for. Honey, though, I can smell, which is what I actually like about this. It's like there are some notes in flower nose you just can't perceive at all. But here, I actually can smell the honey in the back, and it's to its benefit. It smells it gives it like some softness. And it makes it seem, to me, less old-fashioned. Like, especially when you have Lily of the Valley and Rose, like, literally all the time in these perfumes. I do think it makes it stand out a little bit more. That being said, it is still a generic fruity floral. I fear that this Little Angel, like, collection is one of the most, it's just one of those really generic lines of perfumes from them. Again, if you like these scents, you can't go wrong with them. But for me, if it were not for the bottles, I would not have bought a full size. And again, the full size one I have is not the one that I prefer, which is the white one. But I do like it better than Maria's Anthem, so I'm also going to put it in B, which is starting to get very full here. I also think that it fits name Choir Girl more. I think it smells very youthful. Like, the rose doesn't smell like an old rose to me. It smells more like a clean, fresh rose, and the honey gives it a lot of youth, freesia too. Like, it's good. Like I said, it might just be based on my experience. It reminds me so much of like some girls in high school that used to smell like this. but it's overall very nice. Now, the last ones I'm gonna look at today are from the Chocolate Wondershop, which in my opinion is one of the most underrated series. You see, I have the full size here, and I also have 2 samples here. So what happened is that I bought the samples first, and you can see there's one that I like considerably more than the other, and that's the one I ended up buying. This is one of my favorite bottles, and before I even talk about the scent, I need to, that person on Fragrantica who said this is an ugly bottle, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. This is not an ugly bottle. This is one of their best bottles. Just like the Butterfly Cloud series, this is another series that has, it's like opaque. You don't see how much liquid's left in it. I also think that the scents are quite unique. So let's go ahead and start with this one. If I bought a full size after having the sample, I think you can guess that I like it, right? But let me tell you what it is. So this one is called Red Queen's Mischief, and on Fragrantica, it's actually, some people said it's like their better one, and I agree with that. This is one of their better perfumes. It's top notes peach, coconut, grapes, middle notes tuberose, lily, plum, base notes musk, sandalwood, cedar. And let me tell you, it does smell exactly like peach coconut. It smells really, really good. It smells like summer. The coconut is like palpable. It's like very coconut forward, I feel, but so is the peach. I don't smell the grapes too much, but there is the juiciness of like the kind of grapes and plums, like the image that it evokes in your head. And it is very nice. There's one caveat to this, is that the coconut smells a bit plastic. And I actually went back and forth so long over whether to buy the full size. And the reason for that is that the coconut smells plastic. And you guys know I love coconut. You know, I have my favorite coconut scent is actually the Palmer's one, this one. But I just kept spraying it again because it's so addicting. Like, is there something a bit synthetic about the coconut, but it doesn't stop me from enjoying the perfume. And I think at the price point of like, you know, how much I bought it for, like 18 USD, that kind of thing, I think it's definitely worth it. 50 USD, I think I would expect a bit of a more refined, like a creamier coconut, but I think it's just such a nice, like, beach, tropical, summer scent. I agree with the sentiment. That's definitely one of the better ones. And it doesn't smell, you know, it says Girls Chocolate Shop. I think there was a bit of a missed opportunity to release a chocolate scented perfume. You'll see the next one is not chocolate scented. Or even like a gourmand perfume, kind of like how they did with the Strawberry Cupid one. But I still think it has that kind of like girlish whimsy to it. Am I being biased? And I really like the bottle. The bottle does not fit with how it smells. So, am I being biased? I want to put in an S, but I think that's being too biased because I feel like I was pretty harsh with some other perfumes not matching the theme. So I'm gonna put it in A, okay? Sorry, this video is probably getting super fucking long because all I do is talk. Let's look at the very last one, which is Alice's Flower Tea. If you guys have noticed, this is like a Alice in Wonderland themed like perfume set. Actually, you know what? It did deserve to be an A because I don't get Alice in Wonderland Red Queen from this perfume. Anyways, let's take a look at Alice's Floral Tea. So Alice's Flower Tea has actually some of the more unique middle and base notes. We have black currant and lemon, middle notes fig leaf and neroli, and base notes olive tree and tonka bean. So something that's very green smelling. And I actually really like it. It's not for me personally, but it's definitely unique compared to their other scents because it's not so floral. It's like, it just smells green, and green in a good way. Like a bit low-key, like a bit spicy. Not like very mildly spicy. Mostly just very fresh. I don't think the lemon comes off too strongly either. What I smell the most is olive tree and fig leaf, personally. And I think is very delightful. I think that this one, you know how I said there was only one unisex one? I can imagine this one being unisex actually, so maybe there's two. It reminds me of the south of France. It smells like the south of France. Like a summer in the south of France when you're going through the olive grove. That's exactly what this smells like. And because I'm from the south of France, it makes me a bit nostalgic. I really like how this smells. Low-key, I should have bought the full size of that one too, because it's also a very cute bottle. Wait, pause. It's called Alice's Flower Tea. Girl, there's no flowers in this. Oh wait, sorry, there's neroli. I'm joking. There's neroli. I'm joking. Take back what I said. But I still stand my point. Like, it's not heavy floral scented. So I'm not sure why it's called Alice's Flower Tea. It should have been called something like, I don't even think it smells like tea. I think the name doesn't really match very well. Neither does the bottle. but I think it's a very, very nice scent. I think I'm gonna put it in A tier as well, just because there's like a bit of a mismatch, but it's unique among Flower Nose, and it's, in my opinion, very pleasant and well made if you like those kind of like fresh green scents. Like, I would love someone smelling like this near me. All right, those were all the perfumes. It's smelling very perfumey around me right now. I think after ranking all of these, I do confirm the feeling that Flower Nose has a lot of fruity floral DNA that makes their perfume sometimes smell a bit generic. However, I'm not using generic in a way to like really criticize. I just, because like some people like generic smells, and also if something's generic, it appeals to all. All the ones that I've called generic are pretty much safe buys, for, you know, it won't really offend anyone. And honestly, a lot of the perfumes, like there's only one that I put in D, and that is Crystal Apple. I think it still deserves to be there. I do want to move things around a bit. I think I'll just put it up on a screen as I'm talking right now, but some thoughts I've had is, for example, lemon tea is one that I initially put in B tier just because it's a bit unique. But when I look at all the other ones I put in B, I don't consider it to be on the same level as some of them. It's kind of just based on like it's a bit more unique and it fits the theme a bit. However, I think I'll just move things around, and the closer they are to the top of the category, like the first one in B versus the last one in B, then the first one would be I would consider it better. Like again, it'll probably be on the screen right now so you can see. Before I move on, I'm going to just share my personal 5 favorite. This is unrelated to the tier list. This is just personal preference. I think this one remains my personal preference. This is the strawberry cupid strawberry milkshake one. Just because I'm a gourmand girl, this is the closest they have to like a sugary sweet gourmand. As much as I like Luna Goddess Tree, I don't think it will make it into my top 5. After that one though, the other 4 are in no particular order really. I think I would maybe put Snowy Gardenia there, Red Queen's Mischief. I also like Ribbon Ballet, and the last one I would put is actually Midsummer Fantasy because the grapefruit scent is very fresh. So there are lots that I rated higher than others, but I would still like it's still pretty much a match. I guess I can't really be entirely unbiased like that, right? Anyway, I think I should wrap up this video now. I think I've been talking for like fucking forever. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you are looking for a specific type of perfume, that these like very short reviews for them are helpful. If you have any questions on any of the perfumes I mentioned, please go ahead and ask. I'm happy to elaborate a bit more. I think sometimes when I have time to think and like I type things out, I can be a bit more specific about what I mean, especially if you want me to compare 2 specific ones side by side. Like I think I smelled like over 15 of them just now. I'm looking forward to see what else they have in store for the next collections. Anyways, I'll see you guys. Bye!